Namaste, Masters. Welcome you all for Unified Week 13. I hope you are making a great progress here. And in the Unified Level 2, it looks like it's getting a little bit tougher, but actually, if you pay more attention and just follow the instructions, it's pretty easy, right? So, so now there is no specific instructions or the words that are given into practice. Now it's all, even the formula you have to create on your own. Get the right words from the higher self, right? It will continue the same process till the end, but in a different ways. So if you still don't have a really good connection with higher self, you have to work on that part. If you don't have a connection with higher self, so whatever is upcoming weeks, it's not going to really make sense for you. So those who are still in doubt whether they're connecting to higher self or not, you please focus on that area. What you do is just sit on yourself and ask, I connect to higher self, ask, yes, no signals. So by asking yes, no signals more and more time, you get more used to communication with higher self consciously. This is big challenge here is conscious communication. Okay, that's how all the yogis live, right? They're awake, they're yet connected to the different worlds and different beings and bring the knowledge. Otherwise, we are always connected. In the sleep, we are always connected. In the deep meditation, we are always connected. But only challenge is bringing that into the conscious awareness is challenge. So that is where the unified is the highest level of course for us. Otherwise, it's just not the meditation practice. So it is taking you to one level above in your spiritual journey. Okay, making that all that connecting to the universe, bringing that God qualities in your conscious awareness in this wakeful state is ultimate thing for everybody, right? So if you look at that way, the 13th week, achieving spontaneous right action, achieving spontaneous right action. And I request everybody, it is morning, most of the people, don't close your eyes and listen. Keep your eyes open and pay attention to every single word and try to understand. Okay. First listen carefully and then we'll go into meditation. So don't rush to just go into meditation and okay. So, with a great gratitude to Babaji and to all of you and to higher selves, let's begin the week 13th. So, this 13th week is the most favorite for me because this is where we put our life into the practice, right? Let's say you all get enlightened today. So, what you do from tomorrow? By some grace, you all got enlightened, fully enlightened. You know who you are. Then, what you do from tomorrow? You don't have to do meditation after getting enlightened, right? It's not really needed. Then what you do? So we work on our responsibility. Everybody come here. One is to self exploration to know ourselves, and second thing is to do something in the creation, right? That means actions. The actions that you perform, you have to perform. Okay. And here Babaji telling how to perform those right actions spontaneously. Okay. Achieving spontaneous right action. That's how we have to live. Okay. You don't plan, you don't think and analyze, oh, is it right or wrong, process it, and then do it. You have to do the action, and that should be a right action. That has to be spontaneous. If you can come to this level where you're doing with a spontaneously right action, that means you are always connected in your always connected to higher self and to the universe. Whatever the universe, whatever the God want to do through you, and you are doing that. Okay, that's why the three words that you had was spontaneous, right, and actions. Everybody is doing actions, but their actions are based on their analysis. Their actions based on judgments. Their actions is based on their previous results, right? In the entire life, whatever they did, okay, they process. If you do this kind of outcome will come. If you do this kind of outcome will come. Or their actions are based on the fear, or their actions is based on the selfishness. Okay, but we are not doing it. We are doing spontaneous right actions. And how to achieve that is Baba is giving the practical example through the formula. Okay, I hope you're clear on that. This is my favorite because this is where we put this spontaneous right action is going to happen throughout the day. Whatever you're doing throughout the day, you should try to achieve this, right? So this is going to happen throughout the day. If you can do this, your life will be with full abundance, with all the God qualities, happy and joy. Anything that you do will naturally involve with the God qualities because you're not doing by thinking out of your local mind. When you do this spontaneous right action, that means you're doing with the God's thought. When you do anything with the God's thought, it is naturally filled with the God qualities. Okay, so I will just read through this. If you have the book, you also open it and read along. And if you have any questions, we'll discuss. But I'm telling you again, the formula, it has two different formulas, and you have to write the formula on your own. There are no words that are given. Okay, that means you should have already mastered how to do that 7-step formula and how to communicate with the higher self. Most important, how to receive the words from the higher self and confirming it, right? So if you still have doubt on how to ask the words, we already did in the past week. If you want that, we can do again 1 or 2 sessions on that. That's most critical. Communicating to higher self and receiving the knowledge from higher self and confirming with yes no signal. Okay. So let's go. 13th week, achieving spontaneous right action. So Babaji opens every chapter with amazing one statement. If you can catch that one statement, you understood the entire book or entire chapter. Okay. Thoughts are the basis of all your actions. Okay, that we all know, right? About based on our thoughts, we act on some actions. Before you act, there is a thought. Okay. However, brief, sometimes you give a great deal of thought before you act. Sometimes we think so much before we act. Okay, we think like 1,000 times and then act. You think of all of the alternatives because we think all of the alternatives. That you can say planning, or you can say alternate different alternatives. Let's say when you go shopping, when you're buying a certain thing, you look at like so many different aspects of so many different things and then buy it, right? Weigh the options, okay, and try to predict results. Okay, to other times you act even before the thought is recognized, and some other times you just act on it. You don't even recognize there was a thought behind that action, but there is a thought. Okay, and think these two situations. You definitely went through these both situations and think which was the time that you did a great deal of thought before actions. When was it you just performed the action without even knowing that you thought about it? Okay, never trust. All thoughts lead to the actions or affect some aspect of our action in some way. Okay, anyway, all thoughts leads to some action. This is the corollary of what this course has been emphasizing it, that all thoughts leads to some experience. Okay, so ultimately, your thoughts leads to some experience. The key, therefore, to most productive, fulfilling, and enjoyable activity is to have the correct thoughts. That means if you want to have very productive, fulfilling, and enjoyable action or activity, you should have the right thought or correct thought. If you have the correct thought, and the outcome will be enjoyable, productive, and fulfilling. No one can argue with that. There is nothing nobody can argue about. This is the truth. Everyone wants to correct thoughts, and everyone strive for the correct actions. Right? Everybody is looking for the correct actions. They are looking for the correct thoughts. With all this striving and good intentions, why then do we see so much evil actions? But why do you see these evil actions in the world? If we look at the world around, there is so much evil action, so much unhappiness, and not many people are happy. So much unfulfillment. This is, I think, most of the people go through this. Even after having so much in their life, they still not don't feel the fulfillment, and so much waste of motion. Means so much work. They're running even after so much. By now, you know the answer. I think we all know the answer. Why? Can somebody type why? Are you all sleeping or are in the meditation? So why we still don't feel the happiness? Because we already did different so much.
Can you
It's
repeat
simple,
the
right?
question, Oksare? Sudhakar Garu?
Yeah, so we are looking for the fulfillment, happiness, but yet there's so much evil action, so much unhappiness, so much unfulfillment, and so much waste of motion. Why we are not having the fulfillment?
Because we think selfish. We are being selfish most of the times.
Greedy?
Not focusing on another person's well-being. It's always our well-being.
Yeah, true. So why this selfishness comes? Because we are working out of our limited mind. If you go beyond the limited mind, and if you go higher self and operate from that perspective, you will not have the ego, you will not have the selfishness, right? You always consider everybody is part of yourself. So that is what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to become the higher self here. Okay, come out of our limited mind. When you come out of the limited mind, you remove everything, all the selfishness, ego, and you will know the truth, right? So that's what we're trying to say from the beginning. Okay, don't just depend on your limited mind. Limited mind is working out of the knowledge or the experiences only in this lifetime, right? So that is what all about it is. So it is simply because people are making up their own fantasies. Okay, when we are making a fantasies only in the mind, right? They manufacture, so these fantasies manufacture their own thoughts instead of allowing themselves to be in tune with the one great thought that is created us. Okay, I'll repeat this sentence again. It is simply because people are making up their own fantasies, they manufacture their own thoughts instead of allowing themselves to be in tune with that one, the one great thought that created us. The one great thought that is created is it's a God's thought, right? It's a God's thought that created entire creation and us, and we are not allowing that thought to work through us. Instead, we are working our own mind and making fantasies. I think Babaji told same thing in so many times in other chapters. Okay. So it's all about when you connect to higher self, you are connecting to the God's thought. When you connect to God's thought, you will get the God's qualities. Otherwise, when you work with your own mind and all these miseries, fantasies, and unhappiness, all this comes up. When you are in tune with the God's thought, then all the thoughts that bubble into your head are correct. When you are in tune with the God's thought, anything that you bubble in your head is a correct. See how beautiful it is. Okay. That is They are the thoughts that propel you into the actions that can only give the experience of happiness, abundance, success, joy, love, God's other qualities, right? So it's all about getting in tune with the God's thought. Only the qualities of God experienced with the God's thought. Okay, see that's again. Only the qualities of God are experienced with the God's thought. You don't always experience God qualities when you make up your own thought. Okay, see it's saying when you make up your own thoughts, you may not experience the God qualities, but you may experience little bit of satisfaction for a brief moment, right? Like when you get a salary or you get excited for the first salary, right? When you buy a house, you definitely become happy for a brief moment, which you are capable of doing, right? You are also creator, so you are also capable of creating your happiness, but it's not guaranteed all the time when you make up your own thoughts. But if you are in tune with God's thought, you always will experience the God qualities. It's guaranteed. And so you imagine what is not true, such as being poor or being sick or being wronged by someone. Yes, that's true, Mr. Ashok. Simply not true, and no amount of your thinking can change that. Creation was made for you to experience. See, creation was made for you to experience God qualities. But we came here and we separate ourselves from the creation and we go through all these struggles. Okay, your little independent thought. So you are always independent. You can think independently, but when you think independently, you know what happens around us, and if you look at the world, then you know. The more you become independent, the struggle you face. Okay, just think about the scenario. Say, like a 6 years old kid wanted to become independent. What will happen to him? Will he have a very pleasant and happy life, fulfilling life, or will he go through struggle? When he is with the family, he get everything. He doesn't even need to ask. Everything will come to his plate. So same thing, we are also children of the God. And with our ego and our little mind, we got separated. And once you identify, once you recognize that God is with you all the time, and if you embrace that and see what happens, everything will come to you. You become abundant. Okay, with our ego, and we want to become independent, and our ego doesn't want to lose its identity. Okay, with your little independent thoughts can certainly manifest the experience of thoughts for they represent. Think of poverty and you'll experience. Okay, think sickness and you'll experience. Think of growing old to die and you'll experience it. Think you are not loved and that is your experience. So whatever you think, it will come through the way. Think of unhappiness and you will experience. Think people are out to hurt you and that will be your experience. So whatever you think, so that's what Baba is ultimately saying. You are going to create your reality. Okay, it is your experience, but that doesn't mean it is truth. It is only your experience. Your experience must follow what you think. You are made in the image of God and He is a creator, and so are you then creator. His creation began with the thought. Your creation also begins with your thought. Okay, Baba is saying this creation has begun with the God's thought, and your creation also is also beginning with the thought. Okay, for all the actions, root is the thought. So correct the thought, and the actions will change, and the results will came. Results will change. Results in the sense your experience has to change, right? That is most important. Ultimately, why you are doing certain things to have a better experience. Better experience means ultimately it's happiness, right? So this week, so let's see what we're doing. So let's see. This week you expand your experience of manifesting what you truly want. So we're going to work on what we truly want. you begin to experience that you can spontaneously do the correct activity. You can spontaneously do the correct activity. It will seem that you won't even think before acting, but we know that cannot be true. What happens is that you think of action just before doing it. That way, the thought and action appears as one. So what Baba is saying is, your thought and actions has to be almost at the same time. Okay, this is how it works when you are truly in tune with the God's thought. Okay, this is how it works when you in tune with God's thought. That thought appears and you perform it. His thought bubble into your mind, and quite spontaneously you act. Okay, for example, let's say because I call somebody or I think of somebody, the next moment they'll be calling me or I'll be calling them. When I call them, they think, oh, I just thought about you and you called me. Or I begin some course or begin some action, but somebody else will be thinking about that. Okay, the unified two happened just like that. So some group of people were talking about, oh, we have to start unified. They were thinking in their home, and I was sitting in my home and started the group already, right? So that thought came to me, and I just started working on it. Okay. So that is the same thing Baba is saying. Okay, his thought bubbles into your mind, and quite spontaneously you act. Pretty soon, life just flows easily. When you work like this, right? You don't have anything in your head like carrying, oh, how my life is going to be. Okay. So things will come to you and you allow it. That's why we're all doing meditation. Right? Meditation is a stopping thoughts, the making up things in our mind. Okay, let things allow because they let creation work through you because creation has better knowledge than you that we're all agree, right? When you agree, why don't you let it happen? You don't have to conjure, wait, alternatives, debate options, and then blindly leap. You just act on it and allow things to happen. When you don't allow things to happen, as you grow, as you do more meditation, it creates more friction because your mind and higher mind they start fighting. When you use your own little thoughts, you blindly leap. There is no way you can know enough facts in your head to work out the right action every time. Sometimes you might luck out, but never always. There are too many unknowns. There are too many unknowns. However, remember that you have quality of God described as all-knowing intelligence. See, there's one of God called all-knowing intelligence, right? We'll connect to that and get all the knowledge. That quality comes forth when you are in tune with the God's thought. See, that all-knowing intelligence will come to you only when you are in tune with the God's thought. Then you instantly compute the right course of action. Okay, then you do the right course of action. In the same instant, you think of the action and perform it quite automatically. Right action is the action which gives you the experience of God qualities happiness, love, joy, bliss, abundance, non judgment, unboundedness, all knowing intelligence, peace, energy. See, these words itself are giving so much energy to us, so much happy, so much joy. Hmm? So that means, so this is also kind of a right action, right? When you think of some abundance, you experience that instantly here, right now. The happiness, we are all happy here. We're not doing anything, but we're still happy. So it is the experience. So it is the right action that leads you away from your imagination. So see, this is what very important. It is the right action that leads you away from your imagination. Because most of them we are imagining, right? We are imagining about future. Oh, I'll do this and this will happen. So it leads you away from fear, insecurity, and loneliness and toward abundance, true contributions to the society. See, true contributions, so it's an action that is fulfilling and successful and satisfying. Okay, so that is theory about thought and actions and how to do it and what will happen and how to live. So this is how you have to live from today your entire life. Throughout the day, you're not thinking too much. Whenever things come to you, let's say you want to buy a house, just act on it. You want to go for a work, just act on it. Or you have to resign it, just act on it. You should know how to allow God's thought, but make sure that you are in tune with God's thought. If you're not in tune with God's thought, don't perform the action. This is very careful. This is people at there is influence, right? You have to make sure you are not under the influence. When you are not under the influence, then only you can do this. So that means you always should be connected to higher self. That means you should be mastering all the chapters that we did so far. Okay, so what is the practice? Today, write out a creating formula for guidance in achieving the spontaneous correct action. So today we're going to write out a formula, the 7-step formula for achieving spontaneous action. Use a quiet period to ask higher self from, okay? Use a quiet period to ask help from your higher self with the formula. Check your communication and correctness of the formula. So the 7 step only first and 2 steps are same. Uh, third step and fourth step is something you have to communicate to higher self and get the correct words. Check your communication and correctness of the formula with your yes no signals. How do you check? Ask yes no signal. Is this right? Is this wrong? Is this right? Yes no signal. This is very important creating formula. Feel comfortable with it. Say it meaningfully and with a love every day. Say it meaningfully, okay? Tomorrow you are to pick up an activity. Tomorrow, that means from second day. Tomorrow it's said meaningfully with a love and tomorrow you are to pick an activity to create from your list of experience that you want. I think in the earlier week we did write down what kind of desires you have, what kind of experience that you're looking for. So you can pick one of those experience and we'll create a formula for that. Okay, tomorrow you are to pick an activity to create from list of your experience that you want. Okay, some of the experience that you wanted, you can pick one that pick an experience that seems attainable. Okay, Baba is saying it seems attainable. One you do believe can happen. If you believe and don't believe means when it comes to that, if you don't believe means there is already a thought that is stopping you. Okay, that is what Baba is referring. The thought that is, but everything is possible. If you believe means it's happening. If you don't believe means there is already a thought that is stopping, which has more weightage than your belief. So that is what Baba said. Everything is possible and you will very soon realize. For this first experience, however, it's important that you own doubts, fears, and imaginations don't block the manifestation. So pick something that is believable. Okay, next is a quiet period. Check and make sure that activity that you choose in your highest interest. This is very important. So most of the people they pick some desired outcomes, but they don't check whether is it in your highest interest. This is very important. Any action that you do has to be highest interest. Okay. Highest in the sense it should be fitted in your life purpose, not just with the ego selfish mind. Okay. How do you check whether is it in your highest interest or not? You do this by asking your higher self. Okay. And make sure the have its signal. Ask your higher self, is it in my highest interest? And your higher self will give us no. Okay. If it is wise to ask, if it is wise to ask a question about describe the activity, you can ask. So the communication can go as deep as you want it, as many times as you want. Start communicating more and more, like how the kid will interact you. The kid will ask like so many hundreds of questions, like 3 years, 4 years old kid. They will ask the same question again and again, or they ask like why is like that? Why is like that? What is that? Why is this? Like that, you are all to kid to your higher self. Keep asking more and more, and get comfortable with the communication. And after like so many weeks and so many months, after like few months, You don't need to know, you don't even know that you're communicating higher self. You become one like that. Both become one. Okay, if you get yes, then ask, is it in my highest and wisest interest to do this action? So you have to ask question like that. Okay, describe the activity. If you receive a signal, then if you receive a signal, then write out a creating formula for experience what you wanted. Check with your higher self for any thoughts that you need to deal with that could interfere with the experience. Also use yes no signals. Okay, there are two things here, right? One is what you wanted, what you want to experience, and the actions that you want to perform. Confirm that with the higher self asking, is it in my highest and wisest interest? Okay, to get this kind of activity. If you get a signal, and then write a creating formula for that activity. Okay, there's two steps, right? One is describing the activity and asking, is it in my highest and wisest interest? If you get a signal, then creating a formula for manifesting that. I hope that is clear. Okay. Remember, you are still learning these techniques. Do not try to leap too fast. Okay. Don't try to go too fast. Just do these two creating formulas. Feel comfortable and grounded in using them. Before long, you will be using them regularly as basis for your thoughts to bring whatever experience that you want to higher self know in your highest and wisest interest. Okay, friends. Hope that's clear. Okay. So if any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll go into meditation. Awesome. Let's do meditation. Close your eyes. Relax yourself. Clasp your hands. Cross your legs. Start observing your natural normal breath. Observing your natural normal breath. Totally be present in this moment by observing the natural normal breath. Let go all your thoughts. Connect to higher self. Invite to higher self and connect to him. Let us invite Baba's consciousness and connect to him. Let's all connect to this group consciousness. Be aware you are in the group. Completely be with your breath. Let us center ourselves in the heart, dear friends. Bring your awareness to the center of the chest. Keep observing yourself and see the gentle pulsation coming from your heart. Don't get lost in thoughts. Always be present in the heart. Just observe the process. Let us clear our aura to all uninvited influences in my aura. I send love and light to you. You each created as a love and light, and you are still a love and light. You each has no fear and no pain. You each has a perfect place to go. I ask my dear higher self to take you there. Please go in peace. Let us close our aura. I close my aura to all except my higher self. I send love and light to all thought forms around me and convert them to light. You state the purpose of today's meditation. My purpose of today's meditation is to create a formula to experience spontaneous right action. Always be with yourself. Don't get lost in thoughts. Be present here, be aware all the time. Let us work on creating formula to get a guidance to experience spontaneous right action. First step, God. Visualize all the God qualities. God is love. God is light. God is happiness, joy, and bliss. God is abundance. God is all-knowing intelligence. God is peace and gentle. God is omnipresent. God is non-judgmental. God, and second step is I. Apply all the God qualities to yourself. Experience them right now. Next step is claim and acceptance. Please ask your higher self for the right words for the claim and acceptance. Seek the right words to get the guidance for manifesting spontaneous right action. My dear higher self, please give me the right words for my claim and acceptance for manifesting spontaneous right action. Use yes/no signals to confirm the correctness of the words. communicate to higher self. Please interact with higher self and confirm the rightness of your words asking yes no signal. My dear higher self, please give me the correct words for my claim and acceptance to experience spontaneous right action. you already got the words and confirmed it, move to the next section. 4. Thoughts with. Ask yourself if you have any thoughts that are interfering with your claim. Ask yourself if you have any thoughts that are interfering with your claim, and replace those wrong thoughts with the correct thoughts. The fifth step is forgiveness. My heart is always in a state of forgiveness. Release any grudges that you have. Sixth step is thanks. I thank my higher self for giving me the perfect words and guiding me to the spontaneous right actions. And the seventh step is aiming. My claim is now created, and I release my claim to the natural laws of creation. This is the nature of the law. Amen. Last 1 minute, friends. Let us send our love and light to everyone. Experience your heart filled with the love, your entire body filled with the light, your being of light. Radiate this love and light, which is around your body. Send this love and light to entire house. Send this love and light to entire community and city. Send this love and light to entire state and country. Send this love and light to entire universe, entire earth and the universe. You are totally one in this universe. Slowly bring your awareness back into your physical body. Take a deep breath. Feel yourself. Feel the physical body. Take a long deep breath. Wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your toes. Take a deep breath. Feel your chest, hands, face. Completely relax. Become aware of total relaxed body. Let us thank Babaji. Thank you, Babaji. Let us thank higher self. Let us thank Patriji. Let us thank Mother Nature, Mother Earth. Let us thank every master who joined today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Please place your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds and open with a great smile when you're ready. Have a wonderful day. If you like to continue, please continue. If you have any questions, or if you want to share some experience, please let
Hi, Sudhakar garu. నా పేరు బ్రహ్మానందం అండి.
me.
హలో.
Hello? Yes, sir. Please.
సుధాకర్ గారు.
Yes, sir. Chapandi.
Yeah. Actually, this is the first time actually I'm attending these classes.
Mm-hmm.
Since beginning it's okay, but now I'm not getting any wordings from my higher self, because it was started last week, right? So then how can we get that those words? Like, is it in thought forms or like visualization? How we can get that one, sir?
You'll come as your thoughts, or intuition. So you said like first time in the sense you joined the level 2 or did you complete the
No,
level
no,
1?
no, no. Since beginning I was there,
Oh, you
but
were there?
most of the time, what happened? My work timings are like morning 6 o'clock. That's why weekdays I cannot join in the Zoom class.
Oh, okay.
Only then the weekends I can join in the Zoom classes. That's why even I have a question, man. I don't have like I
Okay.
cannot answer. Like mostly I'm following this YouTube videos.
Okay. So what happens, sir, when you ask the question
Mm-hmm.
and relax yourself and
Mm-hmm.
observe yourself,
Okay.
okay, and one thought will pop up. Like
Okay.
the words will come and you speak those words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, after you speak those words, you may not speak entire sentence correctly. What you have to do is
Mm-hmm.
ask the signal, is it right word or wrong word? For example, today I got one sentence and I asked, is it right? Means I said, your higher self said no. Then I had to ask again and speak
Okay.
out. That way you have to repetitively as you do more and more, and your
Okay.
communication become more smooth as you do more times.
Mm-hmm. So
So
is it that the is in thought forms, right? Not
where
in
is
the
it?
visualization.
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe for some people may come as, but that could be rare. But mostly it
Mm-hmm.
could be thought form.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Great question, sir. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Purushottam garu. Okay, friends. So thanks for joining today, and please practice it. I know it's becoming a little bit harder because there is no proper guidance proper in the sense you should have established the higher self connection by now. If you have done that, then it become easy. Otherwise, become tough. If you still think you don't have the proper connection with higher self, you have to work on that first. Then this become easy. Because today I wanted to get some guidance, so I got it. So because I have good connection with higher self. Same thing for you, it will happen because we're all connected. There is no doubt. It's
So,
all about how we tune ourselves into that frequency.
Sudhakar garu, this is
Yeah,
Mankiran and one quick question.
sure, Andy.
Have good connection, everything is fine. Today, I'm for the spontaneous action to ask, the right words. It is a process, right? It is not spontaneous. So why are we asking the words for spontaneous action?
So to manifest that process,
Uh,
we are creating a formula. So you perform the right action throughout the day, right?
right.
So for you to tune into that mode,
Uh,
we are creating formula now. So for example, I'll tell you my process. So
uh-huh.
give me the right words to manifest the spontaneous right action. Right now, I'm not doing the right action. So I want to do that. For that, what I have to do it right now. So what the words I got is claim and acceptance, right? So maybe it will maybe helpful for some people, but don't take it as it is.
Okay.
Confirm with higher self. So my words are like this, okay? I am totally unified with my higher self and I am in tune with the God's thought.
Uh,
Okay. When
okay.
you are in this, for example, now think when you are in this state, you obviously perform the right action.
Exactly. Right. Right.
Okay? So you have to tune yourself into that before you perform the action. So
Okay.
for that,
We are asking like how you are going to do spontaneous action rest of the day. You
yeah,
want correct words so that you will be tuned to that throughout
yes,
the. Oh,
yes.
okay. That
Okay.
part I'm missing. I understand, but I okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
But there is a second part to it. There is a second exercise that you pick the some of the activities, some of your experiences and work on it.
Uh-huh.
That we'll do tomorrow. First day, I just want people to comfortable with this formula for the guidance and the spontaneous action.
Yeah.
But there are two exercises that we just did only one part today.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mani Madam. Great question. Anybody else, masters? Did anybody get the right words? Anybody got any communication? So, Namrata Madam, so I asked the question for the right words for my claim and acceptance, and I speak out one sentence, and I asked, is it the right sentence? And I self said, no, that's not the right sentence. Kavita Madam?
Yeah, I got a word like be kind and gentle in
Mhm.
my thoughts,
Okay.
action, and also what I speak and everything. Like, so that way I'll be in tune with God thought.
Yes, very nice. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Madam. Okay, friends. So we'll meet tomorrow. These exercises get more and more complicated if you're not tuned to higher self. So, but please work on that and everything become easy for you.